Professor Liu is going to teach you chapter 6, while loop. In Java, while loop is used to execute a block of code repeatedly. And Java will be allowed you to read input, several input at one time, or one input at a time. So let's take a look. The if you the you use different code when you input differently. For example, let's see the first example. We want to keep a running total. Most frequently we will keep a running total. But the running total, you want to input the number at one time. This probably on the internet, you already have a data file. So you read them at one time. When you read them at one time for the Java, what you need to do is you are going to have a scanner in, of course. Okay, you scanner in. Then you enter the sequence the number at one time. Here your while loop will say, as long as you still have a number, as long as you still have a number, then you want to input the number at one, the first number, then you accumulate it, then you add a total. So let me show you how to do this one. Okay, so in order to do this one, okay, so again, you have a total, and you will ask your user, you will ask the user to enter sequence the number at one time. As long as you have number, then every single read number input will be read into this input, accumulate, and get your total. Okay, let me show you how to do it. So run as Java application. So now I'm going to put them at one time. So these you can put them 5, 5, 10, 10. All right. So I know that 30. So I enter one time. These will be simulated. The data file on the website already have it. So the answer will be this. Okay. So these will be a way we handle accumulate total in a while loop. But sometimes we don't. Sometimes we don't read the input as a sequence. Sometimes this will be interactive website. We get a number. We interact with user. So we read one number each time. When we read one number each time, so what we need to do is we need to enter. So when we do that, and we are going to have two reads. So first, this is your primary read, enter number. Then you also need a special number to stop, like I use -1. So if a number input not equal -1, accumulate total, then this is my secondary read. So update read. So you have primary read and you have update read, and at the end you you write the total. All right. So these will be, you want to read input number each time. So let's take a look. How do we do that? All right, let me find out. Okay, so for example, for this one, all right, I am going to read each number, one number at a time, So when I read one number at a time, this is a rule. You must have two reads. First is primary read. All right, that's before. The primary read is before the while loop. And you're going to compare to a sentinel. Then you do your processing. Then the last two lines has to be update read. Has to be update read. So one more time, two reads, primary read, update read, compared to a sentinel. So let me run this program with you right now and run as Java application. So I'm going to read, one number at a time. 5. All right, press enter. All right, 10. Press enter. All right, so 20. All right, I'm going to put -1 to stop. That's a special number sentinel. So 5 plus 10 plus 20 is 35. All right, so that is the way we do. You keep accumulate total. So accumulating. So these are very popular example in the Java you want to do while loop. Let's take a look other several example we want to do while loop. For example, we can in Java we can in string we can find a lowercase. Once I find out lowercase, I have bunch of uppercase and lowercase. As soon as I find out lowercase, I show the lowercase and give you a position for that. All right. Let me see this one. For example, this one. I have a string in Rio Hondo College. Okay, so now you need to learn this. When you are searching in Java, you need to use a Boolean variable. Find and name doesn't matter. Boolean variable. We usually initialize to false. We did not find yet. All right, any character. So position equals 0. String is Rio Hondo College. We are saying not find. I did not find yet. Okay, and the position is still less than string dot length. That's a string. So you want to search the entire string. And what happened is we're going to one by one. So from 0, 1 by 1, search the character. If that character is a lowercase, I find it. Otherwise, I'm going to continue. So this way we keep the position. If that's true, the position is hold it and don't need to accumulate. I'm stop. Otherwise, I continue. All right. So we are looking the first lowercase. The first lowercase is I. So let me run this program with you right now. All right. So the first lowercase is I at the position 2. All right. So this is also very popular way in Java. We use while, and we search for specific character. We search a specific words. That's very, very popular in Java. Okay. Now let's take a look some other popular way in Java we want to do it. That will be we still get input, all right, but we want to control. For example, I'm going to keep enter a positive value and keep accumulate total, but the value has to be less than 100, between 1 to 100. All right, so maybe that's a score when you enter test score. I really want a test score is between 1 to 100. All right, so let's take a look. How do we do that? So in order to do that, for example, and in order to do that, add a restriction, we usually use if else statement to help us. So we do the same thing. We have primary read, we have update read. The primary read is before the while, then update read is the last two sentences before the close of while parentheses. All right, but here I'm going to have a control here. All right, so if you are out of range, yes, less than 1, greater than 100, so invalid input, I'm not going to let you continue. So you will not pass this line until you give me the correct input. So let's see how we do that right now. So if I run this program, I run as Java application. So think that's great, okay? So 65, okay, fine. All right, then uh, uh, 70, all right. But now I'm going to give 200, okay? So say, hey, invalid. So it won't allow you to enter anyway. So you need to go give me a correct answer. All right, so I'm gonna find 50. All right, now I don't want to do it. I put -1 because that's a special number for me to end Sentinel. So what I get is 65 plus 70, 135 plus 50. That's 185. That's 185. So I hope you like this program. Okay, so that's another very popular way when we do while. We use if and else to implement the requirement. In some other way, for example, we can say very very popular is in Java. We want to check whether you have duplication. All right, so whether you have duplication, we want to see this one right here. So right here, same thing, we're going to read a sequence of number. All right, so once I have a duplicate input, and let's see, okay, so we want to see these right now. So let me run them. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. I have duplicate input, right? So duplicate input. So this example is also very popular in Java. It allows you to check you have anything duplicated. If we already told you not allowed to duplicate, then this is a way to duplicate. All right, so finally I have to review the most important thing in a while loop is because not all the time we're going to read a file, okay, data file. We interact with user, so one number at a time, and the teacher use a grading program is one number at a time. So that's very popular. When we do that, when you use one input, re-input one, when you use a loop, read one input each time, we have to use Sentinel. We use Sentinel. So we process and use Sentinel. And Sentinel is a special number used to indicate the end of data set. Very popular number like 0, -1, like I use -1 a lot, or we can use Q. Okay, so like we've been used plenty of example, we use -1. So when you use -1, we read a number. The advantage of use -1 is you don't need to convert data type because they are all numbers. Okay, but sometimes we want to be a little bit user friendly for the user. We want to use Q. So what we do is, hey, enter value, but the value you enter is a Q. We're going to quit. So for this one is different from that one, because for this one, your input is a string. Your input is a string. And you want to compare with a Q. If that's a Q, we done. Alright, otherwise we process. So one more time, let's quickly review. A while loop is called pretest while loop. When we do this, read one number at a time, we need a sentinel. We need a sentinel. Okay? Then sentinel is a special number for you to recognize you want to stop the program. And when you use the pretest while loop, you are going to read your input value at the two locations. One is called primary read. Its instruction appear before the loop, before the while loop. It is used to set up the loop with the initial value entered by the user. Update read is instruction that appear within the loop, allow the user to enter a new value. So we saw primary update read. We saw quite a lot example. Use -1 to do the sentinel. That will be easier. If you use -1, you don't need to convert data type. But I want you to see how do you do Q as a sentinel, because that's more user friendly. So let's show you this one right now. So we are going to do this one. So again, when you do this, you are going to assuming your input are string. So I have string input. I have double DBL input. All right. So what I do is I do enter a double number, but I say enter Q to quit. And here I assuming my input is string because Q is a string. And I'm going to say this, while my case equal to Q, not equal to Q. This is my input is not equal to Q. So my input is not equal to Q. I'm going to continue. What I do is, for this, I needed to parse that string to a double first. Parse a string to a double. Then I can add to your total. And again, so you have a primary read and you have update read. Primary read is before the while loop. Update read is before the end of while braces. Then you accumulate your total. So let me run this with you right now. Alright, so I enter a number right here. For example, I enter 10, okay, and 5 and 10. Alright, so I'm going to put Q. I put lowercase q. Let me put lowercase q. Lowercase q. Doesn't matter because we'll change it, right? So it will stop. And the answer will be 10, but 10 plus 5 plus 10, that's 25. So this way is more user friendly, but it involves you have to convert the data type. You have to convert the data type here because we are assuming you are reading string. And then you have to change that string to a double. Then you can do the process. Okay, so that's coming back here. So these number one, that's your classwork number one. Okay, you can use -1. And let's take a look your classwork number 4. Develop a Java program. Prompt the user to enter an integer. When you display even or odd, the program continue until user enter -1. Doesn't mean I like -1. The Sentinel -1 is easier. You don't have to convert the data type. But I also need you to learn both, either Q or -1. And for this one, same thing with reading. Now look, we have odd count and even count. So means once is mod by 2, even plus plus. So we accumulate how many even, how many odd. All right. So I hope you like this program. I hope you like the while loop, and you can program more and more productively with while loop.